Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking the time today to join the Visual Bin Inventory webinar. So the goal of this webinar is to provide you with a refresher, tips, and guidance while using the Visual Bin Inventory feature in seedtrakr. So let's get started. So what is the Visual Bin Inventory? The Visual Bin Inventory feature is a premium subscription feature and was designed to provide you a view of your inventory in your storage locations in real time. You are able to customize bin map of storage locations for each inventory site. The inventory within the storage locations is refreshed after each inventory movement and transaction. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just hop right into the Visual Bin Inventory screen. And that can be found under the Inventory menu and the Visual Bin Inventory screen icon. So one of the first things to know about using the Visual Bin Inventory is there are a few prerequisites to ensure full functionality. So the first thing is you must be using a full high-definition monitor. The second thing is your monitor resolution you'll need to ensure is set to 1080p, which is also full HD. Your zoom level, which is found at the top here using the Google hamburger option, must be set to 100%. And you must have your screen maximized. So if I minimize my screen, I can maximize my screen. And the reason for that is because the technology used for the drag and drop features within the Visual Bin Inventory does require a high definition monitor. So some of you may notice when you enter the Visual Bin Inventory screen, you'll get a warning message just telling you that you don't have a 1080p screen. So the system knows whether or not you are using a high definition 1080p monitor. So keep that in mind when you go in to set up your Visual Bin Inventory. So a quick review of the screen here before we move on to how to set it up. So by default, when you enter the screen, you're going to see a list here of your different inventory sites. Now, you can have multiple inventory sites. An inventory site is a physical location of where you have many storage locations. So, and we'll walk through that shortly, but for right now, we're going to look at yard number 1. So this is my inventory site for yard number 1. And here are all the bins, or physical storage locations per se, on inventory site yard 1. So a few things going on here for colors. So the first thing you'll notice is there's a little circle in each storage location. The color represents the crop type. So you can set different colors on your crop types, which we'll walk through shortly. You can also see that there's a gray square and a white square. So what you'll know is the gray square means that the inventory within that storage location is dirty or unclean. And if you see a white square, the inventory within the storage location is clean. So that's high level, kind of what you're looking at here. So it's a bin map of your yard of the different bins and storage locations for a given inventory site. So let's walk through setting up your bin inventory, and then we'll come back to the screen and walk through all of the different features once we've identified how we set up our inventory. So the first step would be going into the crop types. So to access the crop type screen, just click the Product Master menu and the crop type screen icon. So as you'll see, you'll have a list of crop types in your screen. Now notice over to the right that we have many different colors showing here. This is where you'll set the color coding for your Visual Bin Inventory crop type. So to set your colors, you can just select a crop type in the list and select the edit action. You'll see a window will open up and you can click on the display color icon. Oh, sorry, the screen here is hiding my display color icon. One moment. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's hiding it again on me. There we go. So some of you may have a window that looks a little bit different than mine. So I'm using a Mac, Apple computer. So my color picker will pop up here, and I can pick any color that I like here. So we'll pick this pink guy. and I'll hit save. And now you'll see I've set my clover to pink. And that's the color represented in the storage location in the visual bin inventory screen. So now let's just go back there as a refresher. Select my site in the list. Again, that's the color that is found in the center of each physical storage location. So the next step is to go and set up your inventory sites. So to access the inventory site screen, just click the inventory menu option and the inventory site screen option. So what you'll see here is a list of your different inventory sites. So you'll see I have yard 1, yard 2, yard 3. So let's walk through setting up an inventory site. To set up your site, just click the Add Inventory Site action. You can go in and enter your site name. I'll just call this webinar site for now. Site description, you can put anything that you'd like there, anything that would help you identify where that site is. And bin mode here. So that bin mode will determine how many bins you can fit across your visual bin inventory screen. So you can, depending on the size of the bin that you select, you can either fit 12 across, 20 across, or 40 across. Now we'll walk through what each of those look like very shortly in the visual bin inventory screen, but here's where you set that value. You have the option as well to show, to include this inventory site on the VBI or not, simply by checking Show on VBI. If you don't want to include it in your visual bin inventory, just uncheck it. And of course, you can order your sequence of the sites in your visual bin inventory screen. And I'll walk you through that shortly, but for right now, I'm just going to set this to be number 4. And that's how easy it is to add an inventory site. Now, remember, an inventory site is a physical location of where you have maybe one or many other storage locations. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the visual bin inventory screen. So again, I'm just going to click this list here. So here's a list of my inventory sites that we just previously set up. I'm just going to go back to yard 1 here. Okay, so now we need a physical list of storage locations to drag onto our bin map. So by clicking on this bin list, you'll see a list of available locations that are associated with the inventory site that you have selected in your visual bin inventory. So how do you associate a storage location with an inventory site? Well, we do that in the storage location screen when we set up our storage locations. So simply select the inventory option and the storage location screen icon. So when you add a new storage location, or you can edit an existing storage location, you'll notice that we have a site drop-down list. So here's where you can set your inventory site with your storage location. And that's how the visual bin inventory knows which bins to allow you to drag out onto a specific inventory site. So you can see that here as well in the storage location screen. So you can sort, by site if you wish, to see where you have your current storage location set up. So that's how simple it is. Once you have your crop types, color coding, your inventory sites created, and then you basically link your storage locations to your inventory sites. And that allows you to then set up your visual bin inventory. So I'm just going to go back to the visual bin inventory screen. So in this particular inventory site, yard 1, I have set it to bin mode 20. So that means, again, that I can have 20 bins that fit across one page. If I go to yard 2, you can see the bins have gotten a lot smaller. And that's because I've set up yard 2 to allow me in a bin mode of 40 bins across. Now, if I go to my warehouse location, this is what it looks like to have 12 bins across the page. So you can see that the larger that your bins get, the larger the text is. So it really is just preference on, I guess, how many bins you have in your inventory site, how large you want the text to be. It really just depends, you know, obviously it's total preference on how you set up your visual bin inventory. So if I go back to yard 1 here, so one of the things you'll notice is when I hover over an inventory location, you'll notice a black text box appears with text. And what this is showing me is information about the inventory in bin 5. So it tells me the crop type, the crop year, the product name, the seed variety, the pedigree, the grower, if there is one, whether or not the inventory is clean or dirty, the quantity, the lot number, and the crop certificate number. So lots of good information can be found by simply hovering one of the storage locations in the visual bin inventory. So just going to make sure my zoom is back to 100 here. So adding a bin to the visual bin inventory map is quite simple, actually. So once you have the correct site selected, you can simply select this bin list. So I'm going to select it, and here's all of the available bins that are associated with inventory site yard 1 that are not yet on the bin map. So I'm going to take bin 14, and I'm just going to drag it onto my bin map. And that's it. That is literally how easy it is to set up your storage locations on your bin map. Now you can drag them around, you can move them as needed. Again, a prerequisite to this is ensuring that you have an HD monitor and your zoom level is set to 100% to ensure that your dragging and dropping functionality is there for you, okay? So if you need to remove a bin from the bin map, that's very simple as well. So I'll just hover over bin 14. I'll just click the X in the top left corner. So the screen automatically refreshes after each change, and now you'll notice that bin 14 is gone. So, but that's okay. I can always go back in and add it in at any time. So adding and removing bins is quite simple. So the next thing I'll show you is full screen mode. So typically, we have quite a few customers now who have purchased a very large high definition monitor for their office. And what they do is they'll run this visual bin inventory in their office real time. Because this bin map is automatically refreshed and updated after every single inventory transaction, whether it be a receiving or a sale pickup, an adjustment to your inventory, whatever it is, even clean or dirty, this visual bin inventory screen is automatically updated with the latest and greatest. So really cool tool to have hanging in your office. So what most people will do is they will set their screen to full screen. So they'll come in the morning, get the computer all fired up, or the TV, monitor, whatever you prefer to purchase. They'll get it all fired up, you know, they'll pick their site, and then they can click the expand or collapse button, whichever mode you're in. And what that does is it just takes away, you'll notice it takes away all of the text and everything up the top here, so you can get a bigger, better view of your inventory site. So by clicking that, you can adjust the zoom level if you're done setting up your bin map to make it smaller and a little bit more easier to see. So by doing that, it just allows me more space on my screen. So often that's how people will set their visual bin inventory up for the day. Some people will leave it run for days like that. Some may restart it. So it's pretty easy to get it back. You just go up and you click the collapse expand header action again. Another really cool feature that is included in the visual bin inventory is the timer or the carousel timer. So watch what happens. So when I click this timer, notice that I have multiple inventory sites set up. So what it's going to do is after 15 seconds, it's going to flip through to the next inventory site. So if you don't have a particular inventory site that you want to stay on, oh, there it went. So it just flipped to inventory site yard 2, then just set that timer, and then every 15 seconds it'll just flip through for you, and you won't have to worry about doing that. Oh, there it is. So it just flipped through to the warehouse. Okay, you can turn the timer on and off as you need. So one thing I did want to talk to you about today was warehouses and the visual bin inventory. So quite often in a warehouse, you can have many different types of products stored within your warehouse. So I've set up the warehouse in my visual bin inventory a little bit different. So what I've done here is I have created one site called warehouse, and then I've created storage locations that are actually like slots or like bins within my warehouse. So for example, I have A1, A2, A3, and A4. So to me, in my warehouse, those are 4 physical slots, or maybe it's shelves or locations within that warehouse, because I want to be able to see everything that's in a particular warehouse. So I've gone ahead and set up my site to be called warehouse, and then my storage locations I've set up as, like I said, bins or slots within that warehouse. So that way I can have as many slots as I need within my warehouse, and then I can go in and view all of the different products and items that are entirely in that warehouse. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's just walk through that one more time from start to finish. So how do we set up our visual bin inventory? So again, the first thing was in your crop type screen, you want to make sure that you have your crop types all set up, and then you go in and you can edit the color for your crop type, which is what's shown in the visual bin inventory screen. The second step again was to go into your inventory site screen and make sure you've got your physical inventory site set up, and that includes, when you're setting that up, determining whether you want to have bin mode 12, 20, 40, you can set the sequence, etc. So once you have your crop types and inventory sites, then you go back into the storage locations and link your storage locations to an inventory site, which is very easy. Again, when you add or edit an existing storage location, you just select the site in your list. And you can change these as you need to, if you move bins around, which I don't think happens very often, but if that does in your case, you can definitely change the site on a storage location if needed. So if you have it set up a certain way and you want to change it based on what you learned today, that's totally cool. You can do that at any time. So, okay, so we've got our crop types, our inventory sites, and our storage locations set up. So, so once you have those 3 items done, again, it's very easy. Go into your, select your inventory site here in the list, choose your bins, and just move your bins. Just going to make sure I'm at 100% before I move or remove any bins, and then move your bins out to your bin map. So a couple of different reporting options here. So we have our inventory by storage location report available to you in this screen. And we also have the same report storage location in Excel available on this screen as well. As always in every other screen of seedtrakr, we have a help icon, which will take you right into our VBI help site. So if I just click that icon, so you'll see there is a full page on the visual bin inventory in the help site. So, if you're having trouble, or maybe, you've set a bin out of place and it's not quite working as you thought, just take a look here and check and see, some of the troubleshooting techniques, or maybe just watch the video, get some ideas, but that's all here for you at any time as well. So that, in a nutshell, is how to set up your prerequisite information for your visual bin inventory map. If anybody had any questions, I'd be happy to answer them now. Is there any questions? No? Okay, perfect. Well, the last thing that I wanted to run you guys through quickly was one of our latest features in seedtrakr in our previous release was we added the ability to have booking level payments and credits. Okay, so I wanted to bring this up today because it's been requested by a few people, and I just want to ensure that everybody knows about this now. So what you'll see here is I've set myself up. I've got a customer account here for Kennedy Seeds Incorporated. Just going to go in and view their customer details, okay? So what you'll see here is I have two invoices. So I have one invoice that is $25,000, and I have one invoice that's $10,000. So what we've done is we've added the ability to add a payment or credit to a particular booking. So what you would do here is, let's say if you wanted to add the $10,000 payment to Kennedy Seeds account, but you only wanted it to go towards this specific invoice, you would do it at the booking level. And that's because when payments and credits are added to the customer account in the customer details screen, it's a first in, first out. So payments are always allocated to the oldest invoice by default. So if you don't want that to happen and you want a specific payment to go towards a specific set of invoices on a booking, what you can do is just go into that booking. So you can access your booking from the booking details screen or the customer details screen. So I'm just going to go to this booking here and click the view booking details. So you'll notice at the top here, I can either add a credit now, or I can add a payment directly to this booking. And by doing that, that's going to ensure that this $10,000 is applied only to this booking invoice. So that's pretty much it, and it works exactly the same way for credits as well. So you can add if you have a customer has a credit and you want him to, have that credit on a specific booking, you can add that there. So that's pretty much it. So you can add prepayments, payments, and credits now to a particular booking to ensure that the payment goes directly to that set of invoices. So that's all I really have for you today. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You can send us an email to our support@seedtrakr.com. You can do that through the support screen or just through your regular email. I just wanted to, let everyone know, feel free to pass along, these webinar details to anyone who may be interested in seedtrakr. They are always welcome to join us, even if it's just, curiosity, or maybe they have a few questions or whatnot. And keep in mind that if we do get a new customer sign up from you passing along the webinar details, this is also considered a referral as part of our customer referral program. So keep that in mind. And thank you very much for your time today. And I hope that we were able to provide you with some useful tips and information for using your visual bin inventory in seedtrakr. I'll call that a day. Thanks, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day.